That was an example of a cross-string picking pattern. This particular example is the final concluding phrase of my piece, Elemental Joy. So if you're interested in learning this or the whole piece, I do have that transcription available. Find that link in my description, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here just to sell you something. What I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about this concept at large, explain what it is, how I use it, and then hopefully you can take something from it and apply it to your own playing. So first things first, a couple ways to define this. What this really is, as you could probably figure out by watching me, is it's the riff itself. It's cross picking because that's exactly what you're doing. You're achieving like a single line or scale-like passage, sequential notes, but you're distributing that work across the fretboard. So it's a combination of fretted notes and open strings. And just again a reminder, you can see I have the first finger fretted. I don't know if you can see that really well, but it's just moving down the string. So basically every other note, it's fretted, open string, fretted, open string, fretted, open string, all the way down the fretboard. And what this allows you to do is just really to achieve that, what I'm such a champion of, that ultimate connectivity of notes, meaning that you can allow each note to sustain as much as possible into the next one, and so it creates this very beautiful, fluid, connected pattern, no gaps between the notes. So just to show you what would happen if you didn't do this, or another way, so if you didn't play it across the board, I could play that same sequence of notes, or pretty close to it, through just fretting and picking. And that would happen, so another place to play it would be down here. Okay, not exactly, but you get the idea. It's a lot harder. There's a lot more movement down here. You have to pick a lot more notes, and because of just the nature of it's a lot harder to make it, again, that ultimate connectivity, that real fluid phrasing, which I just love so much. Where up here, it just rolls off the fingers. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And then it just, for this particular piece, it really just fell in line. This tune has kind of a folksy melody to it, pretty straightforward picking, but I wanted to end it with kind of a bluegrass, flat, almost a flat picking riff, and that's just where it ended up. I started down here. I wasn't able to execute it the way I wanted it to, so I found it up there. Now, how did I get there? Well, I learned this technique from my ultimate favorite fingerstyle guitar player, Pierre Bensusan. Some years ago, it was introduced to me, and he calls it the Harp Effect. And if you think about it, it really has that effect. I mean, that's exactly what it is, right? Just again, to reiterate, fretted, open notes, everything blends together. It kind of sounds like a harp. And I think, I'm not a harpist, obviously. Actually, no, wait, I take that back. Harpists don't fret anything. But they get that idea. So he calls it the Harp Effect. In French, it's actually l'effet harpissant. I know it's terrible, but I just had to say it because I just love it when he says, speaks in those French terms. But he talks a lot about that and uses a ton of his music. If you're familiar with him, he uses it all over the place. So that's where I got the idea from. And just like him, at least in this tuning, or this piece rather, I am in open D, or gosh, DADGAD tuning. And this particular tuning really lends itself for this kind of treatment because you've got a nice combination of octaves, fourths, and fifths. And I'm talking about the intervallic relationship between the strings. No thirds, all that's pretty close together, so it really allows for really efficient fingering of those kinds of riffs. Now, it's beyond the scope of this video to go into every nuance about it, but that's the gist of it. But you can just the hope is you can take that concept and start applying it to your own thing. There's another piece that I use this idea from, and actually it was a direct homage to Pierre. It's called Danse de la Vie. And I do the same thing. So I have a melodic riff, but then I use that cross string picking, the harp effect, on the lower strings to create the same effect. So this is it. Let's see if I can pull this off. So like I said, that really happens in the lower string. So it's following this melody. So that's another place to use it. In this case, it was a concluding riff, really a transitional riff between sections. Again, it was a very convenient way to complement that melody and move from one section to section. At this point in my playing, I know a lot of these so well that I can just apply them where I need to and make them work. That's what happens. You spend enough time with concepts like these, get a little creative, and it becomes kind of second nature, or really it becomes like another tool in your arsenal when you're composing, arranging. It's like, oh, I've got this other thing that I think will work here. Or if you're playing a really difficult single scale passage, might encourage you to find a different way to play it using this technique. So speaking of that, how can you apply it to your own playing? Well, that's one idea. I would encourage you, no matter what tuning you're playing in, no matter what style, find a scale passage that you like, that you play frequently in a piece, arrangement, whatever, and see if you can find a different way to play it using this technique. Fretted and open strings, and see if you can just find a new efficient way to do it, especially if it's a difficult passage. Because one, the benefits, well, it forces you to explore the neck in a different way. If you haven't spent much time doing this, it could force you to really finally learn the notes of the neck. Also, when you take a passage, move it up or a different part of the neck, it opens up a whole new sound, some new sonorities, possibly some new melodies, possibly some new variations. Might even lead to an idea for a whole new tune. Another thing I like to use it for is a technical warm-up. In fact, this particular phrase, I can do scales up and down the neck. Just like picking patterns for the right hand, it can have the same effect with the left hand. So it just, before you get started, or if you wanted to do these in a repetitive motion, it just gets you kind of that level set where you get all those technical fundamentals in place. And one prime example is, when you want to play these passages, again, as connected as possible, no gaps, you really need to play off the absolute tips of your fingers as much as possible, so you can give those strings the amount of space they need to ring, and so you're not involuntarily blocking notes, for example. So it really gets your positioning in place, gets your hands moving well, gets things coordinated. So a lot of times before a show, I might spend 5 or 10 minutes running some of these just to get myself oriented and ready for playing, just like as I've done with my right-hand arpeggio studies. So so there's a lot of value to this, and I hope this was helpful. Again, if you want to learn this particular riff, it is part of my transcription to Elemental Joy, or if you want to learn the whole piece, you can do that too. If you really want to do a deeper dive in the DADGAD version of this, or taking what I've done and do a deeper dive, Pierre Bensusan has a couple of wonderful books where he really does a hardcore dive into this and gets some theoretical concepts, different key changes and that kind of, just a little more advanced playing. But hopefully this is enough just to get you started and get you on your way and inspired to try something on your own. So anyway, so I hope this is helpful. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, per usual. My goal with this channel is to just give you some inspiration, one revelation at a time, getting you to your goals and beyond. So thanks a lot for hanging out. We'll see you next time. And just to conclude as well, I know I've just played the concluding riff to Elemental Joy. I'm going to back up a little bit in that piece and play the preceding phrase so you can see it in context a little bit better and how it connects to the tune at large. So thanks again.